What's good, everybody? KhunShawn here, and this was requested if anime characters. So let's go ahead and check out this playlist.
What if
What if
these
they were in the
anime characters
real
were in the
world?
real
Uh-oh,
world?
Yujiro.
Goku would get depressed as hell because he already has barely anyone to train with in his own world.
True.
And now the strongest person here is still the equivalent of a dying ant to Goku. Saitama would just abandon the whole hero thing and become a normal person. He would finally get to relax and not worry about threats all the time. The one time he would use his powers, though, is on Black Friday. That bastard does not mess around during sales. Deku would get bullied relentlessly, and when he uses his powers to fight back, then he's going to become a felon and get
He's gonna
life in
become a
federal
felon.
prison. He would then continue to get beat up by everyone in there. Yujiro would have a field day with this one. He is gonna absolutely humiliate everyone who thinks that they are strong and then take over the entire damn earth. Naruto would become a celebrity and enjoy ramen for life until his true love Sasuke brings him back to the Leaf Village.
Oh, Lord.
Gojo would take one swipe at TikTok and just die. Beerus would try his hardest not to destroy the planet. But one day, he's just going to be walking, and a bird is going to fly past him, and I think you know the rest. Luffy is going to realize that the One Piece doesn't exist in this world, and almost join Gojo. But then he will discover all-you-can-eat buffets and become the happiest bastard alive. Vegeta would scour the hood for the greatest barber alive and finally fix his shitty hairline.
Psych.
You really believe that? Hell no. He's gonna take that ugly ass shit to his grave. I mean, since Baki is already a boxer, I guess he's gonna be a boxer.
Yeah, MMA
What
fighter,
would these
brother.
characters do as bank robbers?
Okay,
Goku would be the one to walk in first.
I saw this one.
What if these anime characters saw your search history? Goku would look at you disappointedly and tell you to be better. He would help you train and better yourself into a warrior. But it was actually all an act for him to get a strong opponent.
So he could beat your ass.
You. If Deku saw your search history, he would be traumatized. He would be curled up on the floor, plugging his ears and mumbling to himself like a maniac. Just don't tell him about My Hero Academia fan art. I don't think he can handle anymore. If Denji saw your search history, you just made a homie for life. Bro would show you his collection of career-ending searches, and when he's not looking, you go to tell the police what you saw, and he's sentenced to death row. If Luffy saw your search history, then he would blackmail you into joining his crew. And when y'all finally find the One Piece and discover that it's a piece of paper that says, "The real treasure is the friends we made along the way," he would straight up murder you. Because he spent like 25 years of his life tracking down this damn treasure just to find a measly f***ing piece of paper. If Light saw your search, his ass would be sprinting for his notebook in the blink of an eye. And it's in your best interest to chase down and tackle that bastard before he writes down your full legal birth name in the death note. If Eren saw it, that man is releasing all of the rumbling in on your residential area and making sure you don't survive. If Naruto saw your history, that man is skipping talk to jutsu and instead unloading a full mag on your frontal lobe, and he is not stopping until that is empty.
Hey,
what
man,
if these anime characters...
I know that video wasn't for me. What y'all be looking up online? Never mind, don't tell me.
Now, if Saitama switched with Goku, Saitama would have the time of his life. Saitama would be fighting battle after battle and having a great time. We ain't saying who's stronger, cause we're not trying to start a riot. Meanwhile, Goku is finna be at his lowest point. When he goes looking for opponents, he's just gonna kill everyone in the process and contemplate his life. If Naruto swapped with Luffy, it would probably go pretty well. Naruto would become a successful pirate and probably find the One Piece since bro didn't need no filler, cause the only filler was in his stomach, also known as ramen. And meanwhile, Luffy about to make the ramen shop
Usopp really flexing on him, bro.
Also known as ramen. And meanwhile, Luffy about to make the ramen shop go broke and end up starving the whole village, while Sasuke leaves to find Naruto, his one and only true love. If Deku and Hisoka switched, Hisoka would absolutely...
He go to
you
jail.
Actually wrote that?
You go to jail.
Well, anyways, if Deku swapped with Chopper, then Deku's sorry ass would be kicked off the ship in a matter of seconds. Meanwhile, Chopper would actually get people to like him and be the most popular person in the school. And by the time Deku got back, his sorry ass would get kicked out for the second time. If Denji swapped with Eren, then Denji would not hold back. Bro would go crazy on every single Titan, and hey, maybe even go a little crazy on Mikasa. Meanwhile, Eren is lightworking every single demon with ease. Except he's not gonna say he's part Titan, cause he's trying to show Makima a few things.
I'm
If Tanjiro
confused.
swapped with Light Yagami, then he would write a book about all of his beloved family members and friends, and when he finally comes home to show everyone his book, then family all dead. Now, you've probably seen the title and
Oh
thought
my
maybe some of
gosh.
these characters would be good
But
leaders.
it's
Yeah,
world
that's
leaders.
cap. We'd be dead if a lot of these guys were in power. Goku would institute state-mandated martial arts tournaments every week. He'd have a boy on a wheelchair fighting Yujiro Hanma, telling him to do his best.
Do your
That boy
best.
would likely die. Not to mention Goku's insatiable appetite taking up half the world's food production for himself. Next, we have Gojo. This man is already a menace to society, and it would be even worse if we all had to follow what he says. Imagine King Gojo walking up to you and your girl asking, "Did you pray today?" You
Did you
respond,
pay today?
"No, please, King
Did you pay today?
Gojo, not my girl." Then he looks you dead in the eyes and says,
Uh-oh.
"I was talking to you." Nah, it's game over after that one. If Ash Ketchum was a world leader, living under his rule would be a nightmare.
Bro, he don't
Imagine
even
having to
win.
rely on someone who sends out Pikachu against a ground type. We would face famine, drought, and an alien invasion just because of his stupidity. He'd have us fighting Pokemon while we're out here in a famine, struggling for half a cracker, a drop of water, and an expired rat burger. Next is Makima, and it might seem
Rapper.
good if you're a beta simp. She'd
A
have us
beta
as her
simp.
dogs, doing all sorts of freaky things. Some might argue she just wants peace, and being treated as a dog isn't so bad. But you're
Nah, not
forgetting
for
the
me.
common
I'm
fate for
good.
dog owners. She'd neuter half of us. What's
Damn.
peace when your balls are gone? Is that the
Damn.
kind of peace you want? A world led by some freaky person?
No.
Nah, I'm good on that one. Who put Hisoka in this? Well, at
You
this
put
point, we might
something.
as well summon Shenron, ask him to summon every cop that's
Bro,
ever existed.
that is not Shenron. That is his
At this
cousin,
point, we might
Shenlong. Because what the hell is that?
as well summon Shenron,
Ain't no
ask him to
way.
summon every cop that's ever existed, and make them king of the world. Even that would be better than having Hisoka ruling the world.
Oh, I'm not that bad.
You as a freaky ass. What would these anime
He
characters
is
do if
69
they got
God.
pulled over? If Goku got pulled over, he would just keep on driving. And let's be honest, who's stopping that? If Naruto got pulled over, he would tell the cop his backstory, and by the time he gets to
Bro.
Jiraiya's death, that cop gone be out cold. If Piccolo got pulled over, his would be on the hood before he could even ask what he got pulled over for.
Damn.
I'll let y'all figure out why. If Luffy got pulled over, he would be pulling out his license, but then he realizes he's in the middle of the goddamn ocean, so his would be sailing away. Yujiro would just beat the cop's and give him a ticket, and he ain't gonna do a damn thing about it. If Deku got pulled over, his
You gonna
boss
cry.
would incriminate his all the way to death row and still agree with the cops. His final words would be, "I'm sorry for what I've done," and then his name would be in Light Yagami's notebook. Speaking of Light Yagami, if he got
That's
pulled over,
crazy.
the first thing that criminal bastard would do is look for the cop's badge. And I
Oh,
think
man.
you know what would happen
Oh,
next.
man.
Aaron's would turn into a titan and go form a simple ticket to a war crime in minutes. If Vegeta got pulled over, his would get 2 tickets. And when
For
he
that
asks,
hairline.
"Why did I get 2 tickets?" and the cop would say, "That hairline is a $5,000 fine and a misdemeanor. That is not a condition to leave the house." Tanjiro
Damn.
would say that he needs money to support his family, and the officer would let him off free, and Tanjiro would drive home, knowing damn well those sons of deader than Boruto's anime.
Damn.
What if these anime heroes were to go to jail for their crimes? Let's take Goku as an example. This guy who neglects his child
Sick.
leaves him with a literal green devil. I mean, he
True.
actually calls himself the Demon King.
Yeah, he
Anyway,
does.
this kid is thrown into fighting grown men on Namek, and then he watches his son get a beatdown from Cell without even intervening. And let's not forget the fact that this man has a body count. Sure, someone might argue it's
Bro, why-
self-defense.
that's not
but when
Frieza.
you're racking up bodies
Freezer.
left and right, you start looking more like a lucky serial killer. The point is, this guy belongs behind bars, but let's be real, he'd still be a troublemaker, picking fights in jail. Now Sasuke's emo self,
But he
Bro, the
redeemed
jail can't
himself
hold
and
him.
refused to have his arm healed as retribution for his sins.
fair point. But if this guy wasn't the Osama bin Laden of the ninja, I don't know who is. He straight up assassinated a whole leader of a country and then has the audacity to talk about redemption. That's like me.
Nah, he assassinated him and then well, I guess weeks or months later, he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be the next Hokage." Like, bro, what?
Sniping Biden and expecting everything to be cool because I fought in World War III. Not to mention the desertion of his country and his little hobby of attempting world domination with giant chakra pets. If it weren't for Naruto, we'd be dealing with an emo dictator. But let's be clear, Sasuke better watch out in prison, especially when it comes to dropping the soap. Now, for Luffy, let's face it, he's a full-fledged pirate. I'm not talking about bootleg DVDs, I mean kidnapping, stealing, and murder. Sure, some might argue he targets corrupt governments, but committing crimes against any government lands you in jail. Plus, the entire crew has bounties on their heads. And this guy thinks he's in the Wild West, and I bet prison can't even contain the Straw Hats. Zoro alone would probably wander off, and Luffy would start a prison riot on day one. Yummy Yugi was snatching souls and sending them to the Shadow Realm over card games. Imagine what he'd do for more significant matters. Keep him away from the general population, put him in solitary confinement, and definitely keep him away from cards. You know what, never mind. Keep that man out of prison. It's like sending a rabbit to a carrot field for punishment. The only thing suffering would be the carrots. Yujiro would have a new every day. Keep that man out of jail.
A new bitch every day is crazy.
What animal would these anime characters keep as a pet? Let's start with Deku. He's such a good boy that he would get a dog that is as loyal as he is. Of course, a dog would probably run away the moment he realizes Deku could rock his world, the moment he didn't roll over and play dead. Luffy, with all the infinite wisdom of his stomach, would probably get the largest protein sea monster only to get Sanji to cook it whole.
That's
while
fucked
Luffy
up.
would gauge on all its insides like he is a starving child. Let's be honest, Luffy eats pets, not take care of them. Sorry, Chopper. Light Yagami is such a pretentious, arrogant, self-righteous prick that he would get a pet parrot so he can have something shouting every word he says back at him. There's nothing he loves more than self-admiration for himself. Tanjiro would get a mouse on the off chance he could get something small to keep his sister company in a box.
Bro, that
what a
mouse
nice brother
jacked.
keeping
Oh
his
yeah, that is the mouses in the universe.
only sister
They
trapped in a
jacked as
box
hell.
for days at a time before the Demon Lord eats the mouse. Well, let's hope not. Piccolo would probably have a falcon. Why, you say?
Falcon?
Well, it's badass. Also, they grow from the same eggs that Piccolo came from. It would probably remind him of his father since he's a better one than Goku and Gohan. Speaking of Goku, he has a lot in common with Omni-Man in how he thinks of his family. So,
As
I guess
pets.
he's covered. On a lighter subject,
That's
Saitama
crazy.
would probably get an obese seal that couldn't move.
An
so he
obese
could
seal?
use it as a pillow. So he could get annihilated by King in video games. Naruto loves Boruto, the biggest cheater ever in the Chunin exams, and deserved to be embarrassed when Naruto caught him. So it would only make sense to get his family a cheetah. This is for 2 reminders that he's the fastest man in the village, and that Boruto is a sack of doo-doo, maleficent, infested, gregarious monster. Now for Eren Yeager,
Damn,
he'd
he
get
really
a
don't
rat.
like Boruto.
What was that face for? It's just a reminder of how the Marleyan people view the Eldians. Plus, he's probably spent so much time in mental hospitals and jails that rats are his only friends. Ichigo would get the Pokemon Scyther so he could practice his powerful sword skills on it. Too bad he wouldn't know his strength and slice it in 2. At
Well,
least he's
damn.
got the cheeks of Orihime. Sorry, Spider-Man. Maybe
Well, I was gonna say Orihime could just bring it back to life.
next time.
Oh, okay. All right. There it is. How would the anime characters
How would these anime characters
how would
spend
they-
$1 million?
how would they act, I guess, in situations? I don't even know how to title this, bro, but y'all let me know if y'all want to see more, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.